Dart School presents perimeter and circumference. The perimeter of a shape is the length of the outline of the shape. Imagine you have a shape and you use a string to measure the length of this shape along its outline. And when you open up the string and measure the length of the string used, that gives you the perimeter of this shape. In this video, we are going to talk about how to find the perimeter of some common shapes. A rectangle is a shape in which the opposite sides are the same length and they are also parallel, and the four corners are 90 degrees each. And like I said, this side runs parallel to this side and this side is parallel to this side. So the opposite sides are equal in length and parallel. And therefore, to describe a rectangle, we only need to know its length, let's call it L, and its width, let's call it W. And the perimeter of the rectangle is given as the sum of lengths of all its sides. So we have an L here, we have another L here, that makes it 2L, plus we have a W here and another W here, that's 2W. If you can take out 2 as the common factor, you can rewrite that as 2 times L plus W. A square, you must be knowing, is a special type of a rectangle in which all four sides are the same length. So this is the same length as this, as well as this. And therefore, the perimeter of a square is nothing but L plus L plus L plus L, which is equal to 4 times L. Let's talk about how to find the perimeter of a parallelogram. A parallelogram is a four-sided polygon, also called a quadrilateral, in which the opposite sides are the same length and they also run parallel. So this side is running parallel to the opposite side, which is this side, and they are the same length. Similarly, this side is parallel to this side and they are also the same length. Let's call this L and let's call this W, and therefore the perimeter of the parallelogram is 2L. We have a L here, we have another L here, so pretty much similar to what we see for a rectangle, plus 2W, a W here and a W here, and that of course can be factorized as 2 times L plus W. Note that a rectangle is only a special type of a parallelogram in which the corners are also right angles. And a square is a special type of a rectangle, which means every square is essentially also a parallelogram. A rhombus is a four-sided shape or a quadrilateral in which all four sides are the same length. This side, this side, this side, and this side are all the same length. So then, what is the difference between a rhombus and a square? Well, a square is a special type of a rhombus in which the corners are all 90 degrees or right angles. On a rhombus, the angles don't have to be right angles. On a square, they have to be. And if we name each side of a rhombus as L, obviously if this is L, then this is L, this is L, this is L, pretty much similar to what you see for a square, the perimeter is going to be equal to L plus L plus L plus L, which is 4L. I'm sure you know what a triangle is. It's a closed shape with 3 sides. And the 3 sides may be all different. So let's just say the length of this side is A, the length of this side is B, and the length of this side is C. And therefore the perimeter of the triangle is nothing but the sum of the lengths of all three sides, which is A plus B plus C. A circle, as you know, is a closed shape, but it doesn't have straight sides. A circle is defined by its radius, or the distance of the center of the circle from any point on the circle. Let's call the radius R. The perimeter of a circle has got a special name. It's also called the circumference of the circle. Circumference. And that is given by the product of 2 times pi, where pi is a constant, its value is 3.14, multiplied with the radius of the circle. So you can think of pi as the ratio of the circumference of the circle to its diameter, which is 2 times the radius. The larger the radius, the larger the circumference or the perimeter. Let's try out a few problems now. Let's say we have a rectangle whose length is given as 5 centimeters and width is given as 2 centimeters. Can we find the perimeter of this rectangle? Well, the perimeter of a rectangle is nothing but 2 times the sum of its length and width. So we have 2 times 5 plus 2, which is nothing but 2 times 7, which is 14. And the unit is the same as the length of each side of the rectangle, centimeters, because you're pretty much adding up the lengths to find the perimeter. Let's have a circle and let's have its radius as, let's say, 25 millimeters. Can we find the perimeter of the circle? Well, the perimeter, also called the circumference of the circle, is given as the product of 2 and pi and the radius. This is equal to 2 times pi is 3.14, that's a constant that never changes, times the radius is 25 millimeters. And this is going to be equal to 157 millimeters. You could say that is the length of the path around this circle.